Hi, welcome to my channel and thank you for being here today. This video is going to be 3 looks with one palette, and it's going to be with the Ace Beauty Fallen For You palette. This palette is really pretty and I do enjoy it. I did have a couple of things about it that I didn't like, and I still stick by the fact that I like their old matte formula better, but I like their shimmer formula and their newer formula better. I don't know if I said that right, but you get what I'm saying, right? Anyways, we are going to do 3 looks. Let me know which one is your favorite. And I don't know which one my favorite is. I think it's probably the first look, even though I was least satisfied doing the first look. I'm going to start the look off by using that pumpkin pie shade, and I'm going to place it on my outer V, and I'm going to wing it out because, you know, that's what I like to do. If you've seen my videos before, you know that is my favorite type of shape to do on my eyes. Yeah. So I'm just winging it out with that pumpkin pie. I did feel like I had to put on a couple of layers, but applying nicely. It's just not as pigmented as their old shadows, which I guess might be what people like. Personally, I prefer super pigmented right off the bat, but nonetheless, it's a really pretty color. And then I go into that candy corn shadow. Okay, those two together, I'm placing it on my other half of my, eye. But like, look at it. Please tell me, like, did you see what I saw? Like, I don't think it's much different than pumpkin pie. Like in the pan, it looks much different, but on the eye, I feel like those two together look super similar. Like the difference is very minimum. It's like candy corn is just a little bit brighter. So then I ended up taking that autumn shade and trying to deepen up the outer corner. And I, again, just didn't feel like it was that much of a difference. I didn't feel like it went deep enough, or like it just wasn't much different than the pumpkin pie shade. So I decided to go into pine cone, and that did the trick. It was dark enough, deep enough, whatever. So I added that to my wing. I didn't bring it all the way up, I kind of wanted that gradient and a deeper wing, and I would not have done this if pumpkin pie and candy corn were more unique from each other, but they weren't. So I took more of that candy corn and I brought it up a little bit higher and just tried to blend things out some more. And then I went back into pumpkin pie and I added that on my outer wing area because that is the color that I had used back there. So I was trying to, use it. So then I took that squash shade and I placed it on my brow bone, and yeah, I mean, you can see it. It's a very light color, but it's pretty, and I liked what it did for the look. I threw on some glitter glue, and I went into that cherry pie shadow, and I placed it in the center of my eye, like you see where I'm putting it. It's my normal shimmer space. I think that this shimmer is beautiful. I think it's my favorite shimmer in the palette, but you guys know I really like red and so I mean, it's so beautiful. None of the other shades had much of a shot. Then I took apple and I placed it on the inner area of my eye, and I kind of like that transition, so I took candy corn and I brought it down on my bottom lash area, just like that. And I just kind of blended it out, and I brought it into that wing too, and I brought that apple shade into the inner corner of my eye and a little bit down as well. And then I took that darker shade and I used it on the bottom, like along my bottom lash line, because I felt like I needed to pair it in with that wing some more. And this is the finished look, and I think this is probably my favorite, but you'll have to let me know which one yours is. And yeah, let's get into the next look. I'm going to go into that persimmon. I don't know what the name is or how to say it, but that orange shade. And I'm placing it on my, you know, inner eyelid area, just like that. I thought it was pretty pigmented off the bat, and I really like the color. Now, I think this reminds me more of candy corn than the other shadow, but that could just be me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what persimmon or whatever that name is. I have no idea what it is. What is it? Let me know down below. But yeah, I'm just tossing it on like that, and I took it up pretty high, but I tried to use a lighter hand and tried to blend it out a little bit for kind of a gradient, and I think it did fairly well, honestly. Then I'm going to go into that squash shade, and I brought it, on my brow bone because I did want more of a gradient, and yeah, I don't know. I felt like it needed it, and I think that did the trick. I think that this is a really good transition shade. Anyways, I'm going into that chestnut shadow. And this is my favorite matte in the palette. I think it is just such a beautiful plummy purple. It's so deep and just yummy, and I love it. But yeah, so I wing it out because, you guys, that's what I like to do. I think that this shadow reminds me of one of the mattes in She's in Party from Melt Cosmetics. Anyways, it's a beautiful shade, and I'm just kind of winging it out. I think it was kind of an odd combination a little bit with that chestnut and that persimmon or whatever, that orange, but I liked the combo. I thought it was really fun, and I'm trying not to blend them into each other too much, but I kind of wanted a little bit of a blend. Again, those two together kind of muddy out, so you have to be a little bit cautious, but I mean, as you see, I wasn't like too cautious, like I wasn't playing it too safe. I'm gonna go into that cranberry shade, and I'm placing it like on the edge of that chestnut shade to have more of a gradient, and I thought it would be a good match together, and I enjoyed this pairing so much that I used it in my next look. Go figure. So I take that cider shade and I place it on my first half of my eyelid because I felt like this was the only shimmer that went with this look in the palette. So that's what I did, and I didn't add any glitter primer down, and I probably should have. It would have made it more impactful. So yeah, I'm just cleaning up the edges with a makeup wipe. Sometimes I use a makeup wipe, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just use like my beauty sponge and some concealer. I take that chestnut shade along the bottom of my lash line, and then I take that persimmon or whatever it's called on the other half of my lash line. And then I took some ColourPop glitter Eternal Sunshine and I dabbed it on my eyelid because I felt like I wanted a little bit more shimmer, and I thought that this glitter matched perfectly. Again, glitter is not eye safe, so don't do what I do. I'm not responsible for your eyeballs. Okay, yep, and that is the finished look. What do you think? Let me know. I like orange and purple together, and apparently I am still living in October. Halloween is never over, right? It's kind of a Halloween-y look. So I'm going into chestnut and I'm placing it on my outer eye area and on my inner eye area, and I'm just kind of dabbing it because it is a dark color and it is semi-pigmented, and I didn't want it to just get out of control on my eyelid, so I really just wanted to kind of dab it on to have a little bit more control, especially since I was using such a big brush. I really need some smaller brushes. So then I take cranberry and I place it next to the chestnut shade, towards the center, you know, because I'm going for a halo eye look, and I thought having darker and then a little bit lighter and then, you know, the shimmer in the center would look really pretty. And so that's what I did. And I like these two shadows together. And then I took squash and I kind of used it to blend out those outer, you know, edges. And you know, I go back into chestnut to deepen it up again. And I'm just kind of trying to use very small motion because I'm not trying to let this look get out of control or get really big like I normally go for, because it is a halo eye. Again, I go back in to deepen everything up. And then I brought chestnut down on my bottom lash line with a pencil brush because, you know, yeah, and I did not bring it all the way through on my bottom lash line, but I did put it on the bottom inner and the bottom outer. I just left the center empty. And then I took that cranberry shade and I used it to kind of blend things out through some glitter primer down in the center, just like that, kind of like a tornado-ish shape. And then I took that spice shimmer because it was the only shimmer in the palette that I hadn't used, and I placed it on the center. And I mean, I really like this shade, but I thought it was like a little bit too dark for what I was going for the halo eye. So after I threw that down, I took apple and I placed it on top of it to lighten it up. And I also threw the spice and apple shade as well on that center on the bottom of my eye where where I left it blank, you know, for the halo eye look. So yeah, so there I am, just taking that apple shade and throwing it on the center to try and brighten up that shimmer just a little bit. And I don't think it did a whole lot, but I do think that it helped. So yeah, and I threw the apple shade in my center as well, not too much. Disappeared, cleaned everything up. That is the finished look. Again, let me know which one your favorite is. I think number one is my favorite, but honestly, I really liked all of the looks with this palette, and I don't know, it had its ups and downs. All right, see you next time. Bye.